Hello, everyone. I am Brooke Boone. I am a multi-million-dollar real estate producer. I service Tennessee, Mississippi, and Arkansas. And today is going to be such a great day. I have a room full of experts here with me to talk about all things real estate. I get questions so often about the market and so many other things about buying a home or selling a home. And so I decided to bring in my personal team of real estate experts to come on and share pertinent information with you all. So I am happy. So we're going to just jump right into it. So I would like to introduce Christy. Christy, will you tell us who you are and what you do?
Glad to be here. Thank you for asking. I'm Christy Stokes-Dowden with Choice Home Warranty, and I am the home warranty guru.
Okay. So will you tell us what a home warranty is?
Absolutely. A home warranty covers the mechanical systems only in a home that fail due to normal wear and tear.
Okay. So what is the difference between, I guess, a home warranty and homeowner's insurance?
I get that question a lot. So take your hot water heater up in the attic, it busts and comes down through the ceiling. Okay. We're going to work on the water heater, where homeowner's insurance would take care of the secondary damage, the carpet, the ceiling, the sheetrock.
Okay. Talking a little bit more about home warranties, because when we are in the middle of a real estate transaction, some of our contracts, the buyer is asking for a home warranty. Right. And so I don't really think they always understand how much does a home warranty typically cost?
Typically, they can range in pricing. The best home warranty is typically $660 or in that area. Be careful going with the lower priced warranties because you lose coverage, and we're guilty of not reading. So we just assume all these things are covered. So when you don't go with the better coverage, you lose things like faucets, shower heads, hose bibs, things like that.
Okay, and how much do they cost?
$660 for 13 months of coverage.
Okay, so let's just say I'm a homeowner and my AC unit goes out. Mm-hmm. What is the process to get someone out there to talk about the repairs that are needing to be made?
Absolutely. So first of all, typically a warranty is not an emergency service. It is not going to be a place a claim on Sunday and have them out there within 2 hours. That's just not how home warranties were built.
Okay.
So you're going to place the claim either online or call the 1-800 number, and then we're going to dispatch a technician who will come out, take a look at what's going on, and then apply the level of coverage. So as long as it fails due to normal wear and tear, there's not been a unusual reason that it's failed, like an animal or a lightning strike, then you should have a covered item.
Okay. So do you suggest a home buyer getting a home warranty?
100%. In this day and age, everything's going up. Eggs, our cost of living, gas, everything. Well, we're having that struggle with replacement parts, HVAC systems, water heaters, especially HVAC systems. With these EPA mandate changes we had January 1st, all the units have went up 15 to 30%. I do not want to spend $12,000, $15,000 on a new unit. I want to do something else with that money. So having a home warranty can help mitigate that cost.
Okay, sounds good. Well, thank you so much. Is there anything else that you would like our viewers to know about a home warranty?
Absolutely. I think home warranties get a bad rap, but when you have a local person, a local contact, and usually that's obtained through title companies, lenders, or realtors, then you have access to basically a concierge type of service. So you have somebody who can jump in for a claim, who can help, and I'm that person locally instead of just being at the mercy of a 1-800 number. So stay within your real estate community and get that contact, which would be me, to help.
Okay. Now tell the people how they would be able to get in contact with you.
My cell phone number is 901-616-2285. That's 901-616-2285. Email address is cstokes@chwpro.com, or the lovely Miss Brooke Boone can get you that phone number.
Absolutely. Thank you so much,
Thank you for having me.
Have a good day.
Thank you.
We are going to get started talking about mortgage lending. I mean, you cannot buy a house. Well, most people can't buy a house without using a mortgage loan. And I have two of my absolute favorite lenders here with me today. And I'm just going to let them introduce themselves. We will start ladies first.
Thank you very much. I am Sheila Middleton. I'm with Cadence Bank. I have been in the industry for over 30 years.
Okay. And to my left,
Jeremy Holiday. I am with Community Mortgage. I've grown up in the business my entire life. Dad's been a lender, mom's been an agent, and I've been a licensed lender for 7 years.
okay, great. So which one of you guys would like to tell us about the mortgage process from start to finish?
Okay, so I can tell you from start to finish how I typically do it. The way I do it is normally an agent will give me the client's name and number, the buyer. I reach out to them, give them the link where they would go online and do the application. And then you do have some clients who want to come in and do an application. So whichever works best for them.
Okay.
At that point, put everything in the system, process it as far as pulling credit report. Everything is fine. I'm going to request documentation, which is a typical documents of paycheck stubs, W-2s, bank statements, driver's license, just the typical things. And then once we do that, we're going to see which program works best for them. And at that point, we tell them you are pre-approved, you're ready to go out and start looking.
Okay.
That's my process.
Okay.
Spot on.
Okay.
Spot on.
So I'm hearing you say that is how the buyer gets pre-qualified.
Pre-approved.
I'm pre-approved.
Yeah,
Pre-approved.
neither
'Cause
one of
there's a
us
difference.
do pre-quals.
Okay.
A
Right.
pre-qual doesn't mean anything.
Okay.
Correct.
A
So Jeremy,
pre-approval is what you need.
okay.
Correct.
So tell
Yeah.
us about how you do your pre-approvals.
So, and just so everybody knows the difference, a pre-qual means that you've done the application, lenders pulled your credit, but
Okay.
hasn't verified your
That's
income, your assets. And the problem with our lane in this business is clients might actually make X, but we might not be able to use it all,
That's
right?
right.
Depending
That's
on how long you've been getting the bonus. Was the bonus declining? You know, how long have you been getting overtime, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay.
So a pre-approval actually verifies everything so that we can have much less surprises when you actually get under contract, right? So that you can have a smooth closing, right?
Okay.
Which is why I have a track record of closing over 100 deals a year, never having a loan fall through, right? And so that is so important, and that's something that I teach everybody. If you see a pre-qual letter, that doesn't mean anything. You need to call and make sure that they actually get pre-approved.
That's true.
Okay. Awesome.
And then what was the question you actually asked? Because that's so important.
That wasn't.
What's the difference, I think, between a pre-approval and a
in the
pre-qual?
pre-qual.
Okay,
But
yeah.
you answered it. I mean, it's so important. Me as a real estate agent, making sure that the client is actually approved to be able to purchase the home and not having any surprises or not having to cancel a contract because they're not able to actually buy.
That's right.
So both of you guys working with you, I know that if I get a pre-approval,
Yes.
that it is going to be worth the dollar amount that it
Yes.
says. Unfortunately, if you use the wrong lender, sometimes you're qualified or pre-approved, but not for that amount. So you also want to make sure that the amount that pre-approval says, right, that
That's
you're
right.
actually able to buy for that amount.
That's right.
So let's talk about credit, because there's some lenders that'll say, I can get you approved with a 580. What is the minimum credit score that you need to be able to purchase a home?
I'm going to let you start with this one again, and then I'll...
Okay, I'm going to start because I can do a loan without a credit score, period.
Okay.
And that's because they have never just gone out to establish credit.
Okay.
But they have a rental history. So we're talking about alternative credit at this point. They have a rental history. They have utilities in their name. They may have homeowners insurance, not homeowners, but auto insurance,
Okay.
cell phone bills. So I'm having to build them up
A credit profile.
exactly.
Okay.
So I can do no credit score at all.
Okay.
FHA 580.
Okay.
Okay. So we're looking at 0 credit score, and that is on a 100% loan with no mortgage insurance and a monthly payment.
Okay. I want to talk about that in a second, but I don't want to lose my train of thought. So a homeowner can buy a home with a 580 credit score. What else do they need to be able to do that? What does the remainder of their credit profile or their file need to look like?
So we're talking about the 580 now. So with that 580, just because your score is 580, please don't think you have all collections now. I'm not going to be able to do that.
Right.
But you have to. I understand if you have a 580 simply because you probably have used the majority of your credit on a credit card. So of course that dropped when your balance in your credit limit is close to each other. That drops your credit score.
Okay.
So 580 still with decent credit.
Okay.
You can have a 580 with decent credit where you can buy a home.
Because you don't have bad credit.
That's right.
Your credit worthiness
And so that's
is
an
there.
FHA loan with me with the 580. Okay.
Okay.
And so this is why I think it is so important that, you know, people know all their options and know
That's right.
multiple lenders. You know, Sheila and I both play well in the sandbox. You know, out of my 10 closings this month, 3 of them came from other lenders that couldn't do something. You know, I can't do the 580 loan, but I know that they can.
Okay.
You know, and so
Tell us about where you started.
Again, this is you know, good credit, but a 580 score.
That's right.
Right. And so for me, I do more non-traditional mortgages than anybody else in the Mid-South. I do a lot of bank statement loans. Typically, I do about 4 per month. Right. And so on a bank statement loan, you know, your credit is going to determine your down payment. There's no mortgage insurance, and I don't charge an origination fee, but you need a minimum credit score of a 640.
Okay.
Right. And so that's great for self-employed borrowers. For investors, DSCR loans, you need a minimum credit score of a 640. Now, all of these credit minimums, again, like she's saying, these are the minimums. That doesn't mean you're going to get approved. There's a lot of other factors in there. I tell every client there's about 47 parameters to each file that makes up this approval. It's not, but credit is obviously the starting piece, right? And so again, there's things that I can do that she can't, and all of us kind of know each other's menu to kind of say, okay, I can't do this, but call them once we review it.
So I work with a lot of self-employed clients. And so you talked about a bank statement loan. Can you kind of just go over that real quick?
So a bank statement loan, so for example, I'll use the one that I have closing next week. So I'm going to give 2 examples. So one, he owns a lot of surgery centers, okay? And his taxes show that he made, after write-offs, $1.3 million, right?
Okay.
And after we take the 9/11 payment, the G-Wagon payment, the alimony to the ex-wife, you know, there was a lot of things on the debt to income, right? And he did not qualify for this $2 million loan, right? But when we took the 12-month bank statements, as long as a person has been self-employed for 2 years, right, and if they own 100% of the business, we can count half of the deposits towards income. Okay. So I was actually able to count $4 million worth of deposits, use $2 million worth of income. He easily qualified for a $2 million loan. Now, full disclosure, right? The rate is higher, but there is no origination fee, and you do get the asset to the house. And if you've been self-employed for 5 years, after a year, we can go off 1-year tax returns if you want to do your taxes correctly, and then we simply refinance. So on the more typical scenario, right? Also closing next week, individual, he owns a lawn care service. His taxes showed that he made $50,000 after write-off. He was not going to qualify after student loans and car note for a $500,000 loan. He had $400,000 worth of deposits. We were able to count $200,000 worth of income. He qualified for the home.
And I see that happen all the time. There is a range that a lot of the buyers tend to buy in, and so that's good information. Ms. Sheila,
Yes.
I want you to tell us about some of your loan products.
Okay. There's a couple I want to talk about. We have this 100% right at home loan. There is actually 3 ways that they can qualify for that program. The first way is if the income is $72,400 or less, They can buy anywhere within these 5 counties, which is
Okay.
Shelby County, Tate County, DeSoto County, Tipton County, and I'm missing something. Fayette County.
Okay.
Okay. That's 72.4 anywhere.
Okay.
The second way, if their income is up to 181,000, they can buy in those counties as well. Those same 5 counties.
Okay.
The property has got to be at least 50% in that census tract area.
Okay.
And then the third way is if the property is in a low to moderate census tract. And you have to type this in the code, in the GL code.
Okay.
Then there is no income limit. And all these programs, even with our self-employed borrowers, all these programs, you're doing 100% financing with no mortgage insurance in the monthly payment. You have to have at least a 640 middle score.
Okay.
And seller can pay closing costs with these programs. And so if the seller is paying closing costs, the borrower is only required to invest $500 into the program.
Okay.
And the rate is lower than the average FHA, VA, and conventional loan.
I have closed
Yes.
several.
Yes.
So I
Yes.
know, and my borrowers are happy because they don't have to pay the PMI. Now, will you tell us what that is for the people that don't know?
Mortgage insurance protects the lender, honestly, if you were to default on your loan. It does nothing for you as the home buyer. It protects the lender. So if you can get 100% financing, low interest rate, no mortgage insurance, why are you doing any other type of loan?
Okay.
That's how I feel.
Okay. Is there anything that you would like to tell buyers about preparation for buying a home? Because a lot of people are kind of on the fence right now. They want to buy, but they're afraid to buy. And they've heard all of these myths and all of these things. So what is your advice to home buyers?
I think obviously if you're watching this, then you're considering using Brooke, and obviously Brooke has lenders that are knowledgeable and that are honest,
That's right.
and
Absolutely.
that also genuinely care. And so something
Yes.
that I explain to people, and this is everybody, regardless of, I mean, I see a lot of wealthy individuals that are even afraid to see if they can get approved again for the third, fourth home, right? I think everybody gets nervous about having a financial mirror put to them. And so I always start by saying, as a man thinketh, so is he, right? So you need to believe that you are going to be a homeowner, that your credit is not a problem, whatever your situation is, it's not a problem.
Yeah.
And let's go ahead and fix the train of thought and allow us to see it and then tell you what you need to do
Right.
so that, no, you might not get it today, but tomorrow or the next year, and go ahead and have that belief that it is coming.
Absolutely. Good advice. Sheila, what would you like to
I would like to
add?
piggyback on that. Again, you don't know until you try. And if you can't do it right now, there are programs out there that's available who can help you with credit counseling. And then there is no charge for this. We're talking about free. You do the work. Whatever that person tells you to do it. And if you're serious and sincere about it, you're going to do it because at the end, there's a goal for you.
Absolutely.
But you got to try. You can't just
Absolutely.
sit at the table and not try.
A lot of times people say, well, I want to know if I can apply. I mean, if I can get approved, but I don't want to get my credit pulled. And I'm like, there is no way that you're going to be able to buy a house if you don't get your credit pulled. You have to be able to apply and have confidence. Like they said, that if you can't do it right now, these are the experts and they can tell you what you need to do. I mean, I work with buyers. I'm working with a buyer right now that originally reached out to me like 2 years ago. So just because it doesn't happen right away,
That's right.
it doesn't mean that it's not going to happen.
Yes.
Will you tell us how to get in contact, the buyers, how to get in contact if they want to apply for a mortgage loan with you?
Yeah, so my cell number is 662-871-0384.
And Sheila.
And my cell number is 901-409-2035. That's 901-409-2035. That's my real cell number. So don't call me at 10 o'clock. But that is my cell number.
Well, I really want to thank both of you all for coming
Thank you.
on today with me. I
Thank you.
appreciate you, and I love to work with you all, both of you all. I was going to add that it's very important for me to work with lenders that actually call me back and we have great communication,
Yes.
and that is why I use local lenders. I did get a question before we end this section. One of my buyers asked me if they could still use me to be their realtor if they changed lenders. Absolutely. You're not stuck to a lender. They understand. Nobody's going to be mad at you if you decide you're just not, working well with a certain person. We all want to see what's best for you. And I think we all do enough business that one client doesn't, break us. And we're happy to also see you meet your goal of home ownership. So
Yes. Thank you so much, Brooke.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right.
Great job.
So now we're going to move on to our title agents, because every real estate transaction, when you're buying or selling a home, needs to be closed with a professional. And so we will start, ladies first. Tell us who you are and what you do.
I am Pamela Webster. I am the owner and operator of Excel Title and Escrow, and I close all real estate transactions.
Okay, thank you for being on here with us, Pam. And to my right is...
Thank you, Brooke. First off, I want to thank you for having me on here with my good friend Pam Webster over there. My name is Stephen Medlock, and I am the owner-operator of Medlock Title and Escrow.
Well, nice to have you both on here. These two are two of my favorite title companies that I use to close my transactions. Both are easy to work with. Both of them are a phone call or a text away when I'm having a problem. So that is very important to me when I'm doing business. I want to be able to contact people, and I want them to respond to me when my clients are having problems. So we're just going to get into it really quickly. And so will you, Stephen, tell us about the title process, the closing process? What exactly does a title company even do?
Sure, that's a great question. So we kind of are the facilitator of the transaction, and what I mean by that is that we will serve as the point between the realtor, the lender, and the purchaser, or the realtor and the seller, and communicate with the other side. And so if we represent the buyers, our job is to request documents from the sellers, but ultimately our job is to make sure that the buyer, whenever they take title to that property, that they are 100% an owner of it, and that the documents that they sign at the closing table accurately represent their portion that they have with the buyer. And on the sales side, it's just to make sure at the end of the day that the bottom line of what they get is what their proceeds are, and that they get everything they're entitled to.
Okay, thank you for that. Is there anything that you want to add to that, Pam?
Actually, no, Steve did a great job.
Thank you,
Way
Pam.
to go, Steve.
What are some, and either one of you guys can answer these questions, what are some of the issues or delays that you see with closings?
There can be a number of issues. First of all, once we do our title search, which I tell people that is one of the most important things we do, and we get the information back. If there is, if we're representing the buyer or even the seller, if there's any information on that title report that the seller was not aware of, there are many times sellers may have a second mortgage.
Yep.
And they don't know it. They have judgments filed against them, but anything that is filed against you, especially in your name, when we pull a title report, it will show up.
Okay.
And the second thing is, I think it's almost the biggest thing to me, is deceased parties. When there are deceased parties on title, and you'll have family members who they will do a quick claim or something, no affidavits, and they'll think, oh, well, I'm his daughter, so it's my property. And you're like, did they have a will? Did they have a trust? How did you get the property? And prime example, I just had a young man, I had to tell him I could not close his deal, honestly, just 2 days ago, because there was a quitclaim deed that was prepared, quitclaiming the title from his mother to him.
Okay.
And the date said 1997. And the notary said 2025.
Oh my goodness.
I'm like, that's a problem. He was like, well, no, she signed it before, but nobody notarized it.
Right.
And then we'll also compare signatures.
Yeah.
The signatures were not
match.
even similar.
Yeah.
So it's just things like that. So you had whoever this buyer is get ready to buy this property, and now
They weren't able to.
they're not able to buy it because it's a fraudulent quitclaim.
Okay.
Yeah.
So to piggyback off what she's saying, there's 2 areas that we see delays, at least on the title side of things. And the first is what she talked about is that whenever a file comes into our office from the buy side, we will do what's called a title search. And that title search is going to show the chain of custody that goes with the property, but also it includes any judgments or liens or anything that's been recorded against the parties, that the buyers or sellers. And in that aspect, that's where we have to check those judgments to make sure that if we're representing the buyer, that we make sure that anything that could that is against the property gets cleared up before we actually can close the property. So that's the first issue, is when we have liens or things on the property, state tax, federal tax liens, things of those natures. The second is what she was talking about with the deceased parties is ownership. So those problems can come with, if it's owned by a limited liability corporation and they don't have it's been administratively dissolved because they haven't filed an annual report or they haven't done what they're supposed to, it could delay closing because it has to be cleared. Because again, our job is to protect our buyers from taking a property that could potentially have any sort of claims against them later on due to the sellers not doing what they were supposed to, or us not clearing a judgment, lien, or a deed of trust mortgage against the property.
Okay, thank you for that. Thank you both for that. Let's talk about closing costs, because when our buyers are, and sellers, but when specifically when our buyers are buying property, buying their houses, they have to pay closing costs. So can you guys tell us, what do closing costs include?
Closing costs are going to include a range of fees.
Okay.
Not just from us as your title company. You're going to have your lender's closing costs.
Okay.
You're going to have the title company's costs. You're going to have, I explained one section as services your lender had to order to get your loan approved. So
Okay.
that's going to be appraisal, final inspection,
Credit
your credit
reports,
report is going to be a range of fees in that section. Then you have recording fees.
Okay.
And the one thing I tell people when they want to know, if they'll call me, or agent will call me and say, what's your closing cost on this? Well, for one, sales price and loan amount are going to make those fees vary, because your title insurance and your recording fees are based upon your sales price and loan amount. So there's not a set fee for those things. There's a set fee for my fee, but not for those things. So I can give you maybe a broad range,
but you're not able to
but
give a specific
unless we're
amount.
at our system, put that information in our system, get the title insurance rate and the recording fee rate. Is no way to really just off the whim give you what your costs are going to be. And then we don't know what your lender's costs are. And a lot of times people, they'll come and say, but how much does a lender charge for origination? I'm like, it depends on who the lender is. It depends on the loan amount. It depends on what it went into your loan. So there is no set fee. You can say, oh, you're going to pay $3,000. We really can't give that amount.
There's only a few fixed charges that are in every single transaction. There's things that are outside of our control. And again, our job is to facilitate the loan getting to the table. And so we take whatever fees we get from the county for the transfer taxes or the recording costs. And then we take whatever fees we get from the lender. And we take those information and we're putting that on there. And so we can only give you the information that we have on each deal.
Right.
And so that's where we're kind of limited in those closing costs, because it's everybody's costs, not just our costs that are on that table.
And for the most part, you guys, the fees are comparable. I have not seen where one title company charged so much more. It's really about what the lender is charging and what they're having to pay on some of these other fees. So very good. Let's talk about wire fraud, because wire fraud is, it's an awful thing. And unfortunately, it does happen to buyers. So who wants to go?
Wire fraud is the number one. That's what keeps us up at night, Pam. Would you agree with that?
I totally agree with that.
Because we're at at any one week, we're sending out millions of dollars based upon us getting information from other people of the wiring instructions. And criminals have become so advanced in what they can do, where they can get into your emails and they can change PDF documents. And so for us, and I know Pam has the same policy at her office, we trust, but we verify everything.
Correct.
And so we call, if it's somebody that we haven't sent money to before, we call to make sure that and verify those wiring instructions, because all it takes is one wire to go out the wrong way. And I know, Pam, at the last seminar we were at together, I think they had said there was somewhere around $1.3 million in wire fraud committed in Shelby and the
and it was a short period of time.
Yeah, within a month's time,
Yeah.
1.2 or $1.3 million dollars. And for us, that is not a cost. We can't get insurance for it as a title company, right? And so as that escrow officer, if that money goes out, it's my job, it's Pam's job to come out of pocket to pay that to make it right. And so one bad mistake on our side or an error, it can devastate a company and put us under. I mean, and so that's why that we have, we put in protections and we make extra phone calls. I know it gets annoying having to answer the same question over and over again,
Correct.
but it's a safety precaution that we have to take.
Absolutely.
And there's an extra fee now that, because like you say, you stay up at night worrying about that. So there are companies now that verifies wiring instructions for you. So
Okay.
you'll see that fee added to the settlement statement, but that $40 fee can protect your $600,000
That's right.
or $500,000. So since we cannot get insurance to cover us in that,
Right.
most title companies now are going, so if you see like certified or closing lock,
Okay.
that's why those fees are there now. To any wire that is being sent out, they're going to verify that wire for us and those wiring instructions. So at that point, if it is not correct, they're on the hook for it and not us as a
Okay.
title company.
That's very good. I mean, I always recommend, really insist to all of my buyers and sellers also, to make sure that you verify, to make sure that the email that you are receiving the documents, and also to call the title company, because they will tell you what their account number is. You have to stay in good communication so that these crazy people out here don't make you become a victim of them. So thanks. That was good.
On that same note, that you talked about, you just said something very, I think, key to Pam and I, we would agree, is that communication. That can break down a closing, and it can cause delays more than anything else, or miscommunication or lack thereof. It's something that if you're buying a house or selling a house, man, that's the biggest purchase or the biggest sale that you're probably going to make in your life. I'd want to make sure that everybody that's involved in that transaction has all the information they need. And so if you get requests like that, that's not something that you just want to look over. We're not asking you these questions because we want to. We're asking this question because we need to.
Absolutely.
And it's for your benefit to provide us that
Absolutely.
information.
Correct.
Absolutely. So is there any other advice that either of you would like to give first-time home buyers or just home buyers in general, or even sellers?
The one thing I would say that I think is very important, and it is overlooked many times, is when you're purchasing a home, make sure your home is titled correctly.
Okay.
And when I say titled correctly, I mean if you're a single person or a single man or woman, make sure that is referenced. If you're purchasing a home, there are times when parents are on the title with you, and you don't want to get into a situation where if your parent passed, now their share go to your sisters and brothers when you've been paying for this house. So make sure the joint tenants with rights of survivorship language is on there. If you're married, put husband and wife on there so it'll be
Absolutely.
understood. And the last thing is, especially if you're LLC, or any type of company, even individuals, get a will, or, which is easier, a trust, because you want all of those things in writing and not leave your family trying to figure out who does my property go to.
Absolutely. That's good info. What about you, Stephen?
I'd say one of the most important things for a home buyer or a seller is kind of touch what we talked before is, actively participate in your closing. Ask questions beforehand. Make sure that you are every step of the way that you're involved in it, so that when you get to the closing table, there's no surprises there. You want this to be an exciting experience, and in order to have that experience, you want everything to be done correctly. And so that's where I think that you just need to be active and educate yourself as much as you can. Also, it comes down to when you're choosing your realtor, your lender, it's not necessarily you're choosing a friend. You're choosing somebody that's going to actively advocate for your position, and a lender that's going to give you the best possible deal they can.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. Thank you. Well, thank you all. This was just so good. If you are working with me, it is almost a 99% chance that you'll be working with one of these two guys. So thank y'all for coming on.
Thank you for inviting us.
You're welcome. Will you tell them how to get in contact with you?
Yes, you can reach me at my office. It is Excel Title and Escrow. Once again, I'm Pamela Webster, and my number is 901-779-7006. And unlike everybody else, we don't give our cell phone number.
That's right. My name is Stephen Medlock with Medlock Title and Escrow, and you can get a hold of us at our office at 901-436-1414.
All righty, guys. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us, Brooke.
Thanks, Brooke.
Now we're going to talk about home inspections. It is very important to get a home inspection, whether you are purchasing an existing home or a new construction home. I always recommend getting a home inspection. In fact, if you are a buyer buying with me and you decide not to get one, then I make you sign a waiver saying that I advised you to get a home inspection. So I have a very special guest with me today. He actually does most of my home inspections. And so tell us who you are and what you do.
I'm Byron Matthews. I am a franchise owner, Pillar to Post Home Inspectors, locally owned and operated.
Okay, well, it is so good to have you here with
Thank you.
us, Byron. And Byron is also a person that always responds, and he goes above and beyond. So I just wanted to put that out there. Let's talk about what a home inspection is for people who are either first-time home buyers or home buyers in general. What is a home inspection?
So here in the United States, most people, a home, it's going to probably be the biggest investment, right? Mm-hmm. So my job as a home inspector is to go in, evaluate the property condition.
Okay.
And tell you the good, not too good things of the property. And just paint a picture to protect your investment and to know if that's something you're willing to put the future maintenance in. And so, so forth.
So most houses are going to what? When you are inspecting most houses, because if a house is existing, you cannot expect to have a brand new house, especially if it's been there for 30 years.
Right.
So talk about that a little bit.
So you meaning just doing an inspection on an older home?
Yes. What do you see with most houses? Or, because when you're doing a home inspection, you're only able to inspect things that are visible.
That's right.
And typically, houses are going to have some imperfections.
Right. There is no perfect home, whether it's new or if it's 100 years old. That's a good point you brought up. So home inspections are what they call visible inspections. They're non-invasive, which means as a home inspector, I don't tear walls down. I don't dig up floors. I don't dig up the ground. So based on the training that we have, the experience we have, we try to make a formal or a good guess education evaluation, just looking at the evidence we see.
Okay.
Now, that doesn't mean we do test fixtures. We turn on HVAC systems You know, we do physically touch things,
Okay.
but there's just certain things we can't actually see through walls, even though we have instruments to help us, but we can't see through walls and we can't see underground. But just based on our experience, we can try to make an evaluation and say, hey, there's something that may be going on in that wall
Okay.
or on that floor, on that slab or that foundation.
Talk about moisture, because I know that there is an instrument that if there's any evidence of moisture that you're able to at least determine that there is moisture or was moisture there.
So there are two instruments most inspectors use. And the number one thing, and I use it on all my inspections, I don't charge for that. That comes with the inspection.
Okay, that's good.
Is what they call a thermal imaging camera.
Okay.
And what that does is it does not per se check for moisture. What it does is it checks the temperature differential.
Okay.
So when you see certain colors, if it's cool or hot, you can kind of tell that there's some moisture there.
Okay.
Or was.
Okay.
And to verify it, if I see that, I use what we call a moisture meter.
Okay.
Now, that moisture meter will verify if there's moisture there.
Okay.
And that's something, I think if your inspector doesn't use it, you should always use a thermal imaging camera. And I use it
on every single
inspection.
That's good to know. That's good to know. If a buyer when his report comes back and then there is evidence or a reason to believe that further evaluation is needed on a certain area, such as like a roof or plumbing, at that time you recommend in your inspection that the buyer reaches out to a licensed professional, say a plumber or a roofing company, to evaluate that issue further. So that's what a home inspection is, and that's what a home inspection does. How long does a home inspection typically take on an average size house?
Typically between 2 to 3 hours.
Okay.
On average.
Okay. And who needs to be at a home inspection? Because I'm asking this because a lot of times buyers are really excited and they want to go to the home inspection, and it's okay. But what is your recommendation on that?
Well, I am an inspector. You're my client. You're more than welcome to join me. Absolutely. I do request to hold all your questions towards the end of the inspection. And if there's something before the inspection, let me know.
Right.
And I would definitely look at that for you. That allows me to give you a thorough inspection.
Right, because you don't want to get distracted.
Right.
You don't want people interrupting you, asking you a whole bunch of questions, and then you miss something or you don't look at something as in depth as you would have if you hadn't been distracted. So I definitely get that. Any red flags? Because typically we find issues that can be fixed. Because like I said, houses are man-made. They're not perfect. If you do an inspection, you're going to find something. But talk about something that would be considered a red flag.
Good question. Let's see. What would be a red flag?
That would maybe make a buyer say, hey, you know what? I'm not going to buy this house.
I would say from my experience, because it's so invasive, any major electrical issues.
Okay.
And the reason I say that, well, two things. Any major electrical issues or any structural issues.
Okay.
And I put that above maybe a roof because sometimes the roof is obvious, right? If it's a bad roof, you know it. The thing with electrical, like in the studio, there are wires going all through this. And if you're seeing a lot of electrical issues can be fixed.
And they're small.
And they can be small.
Right.
But if they're major things, you just don't know how far it goes back. And that would be a red flag. And I would ask for a license electrician.
Okay.
I put emphasis on license.
Absolutely.
To further evaluate this electrical system and see what's going on and why are you having these problems.
Okay. I agree. I agree with that. Structural things, can be repaired, but it is a lot more difficult, and you also have to make sure that the seller is willing to do that.
Absolutely.
And like he said, you need to have a licensed structural engineering company to come in and evaluate what the problem is. But like we said, home inspections are not anything to be afraid of. When you see a list of repairs, because he does a thorough job now, you're going to see some things that need to be repaired, but it's nothing to get alarmed about because, like I said, houses are man-made, and if a house has been lived in, there's going to be some issues with it. Small things that can typically be repaired. So is
Absolutely.
there anything else that you would like to tell our buyers about the importance of getting a home inspection or anything in general about home inspections?
So getting a home inspection should be top priority if you're going to buy a house outside of all the
Absolutely.
financial.
Absolutely.
And this goes with not only your older homes, but even new construction.
Absolutely.
I see a lot of problems with new construction. And because people think it's new construction, they don't go along with it. I found so many things with new construction. So always make sure that home inspector is licensed, insured,
Absolutely.
right? And ask them questions. It's okay to call and ask questions. Ask them, what does your report consist of? What does the inspection consist of? Do you do this? Do you do that? Are you available if I need to talk? Yes. Make sure.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
vet your home inspection.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So tell the buyers how they can get in touch with you, Byron.
Yeah. So my number is 901-275-4897. My email is Byron, BYRON, .Matthews, MATTHEWS, @pillartopost.com.
Yes, and it was a pleasure to have
Thank you, Brooke.
He just inspected one of my properties, and like I said, he always does a thorough job. Very
you.
easy to communicate with, and I just really like him, and so I use him. Now, let me tell you this. When we're talking about home inspections, I do give my buyers an option of people that they are allowed to choose from because I want them to choose who they want their home inspector to be so that if there's any issues that come about, that they were given the opportunity to choose their own home inspector. And so that is our portion on home inspections. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness. This has been an amazing, amazing show today. I had so many real estate experts that I personally use in my day-to-day real estate transactions. These are people that I know, trust, and communicate with. They are on my team in real estate. It is essential to have a team, and these people are on my actual team. They are all local. They communicate good. They call me back. They email me back. They meet my buyers and sellers. And so I'm very proud to have had them on my show today. Thank you all for tuning in. I need you to do me a favor. Go on my real estate YouTube page, like, share, comment, buy a house from me, do something, reach out to me. I would love to be your realtor. I would love to be your realtor. Brooke Boone signing off. Have a great day, guys.